Oh, hi. You've just caught me reading the blurb on the back of the Black Belt Jones VHS video. Great movie. Jim Kelly was the guy with the throw-in Enter the Dragon. This is kind of the spin-off made by the same team, Fred Weintraub, who later worked with Jackie Chan. He clobbers the... You're not here to listen to that. Hi, my name's Iain Lee. Well done on purchasing this very rare DVD video performance of myself, Iain Lee, versus radio, live in concert, live here in Luton, in what is actually a beautiful venue, beautiful audience, beautiful performer. Very special me performing here this evening because it's where my mum and my dad first met when they were an opera singer and a specky, Four Eyes. So a lot of special memories for me. The show you're about to watch is raw, it's uncensored. I certainly don't buy into this political correctness nonsense, so some bits may be a little bit blue. If you got kids, send them out. If you're a kid and you're watching it and your mum and dad are away, naughty. Never mind, you're in for a right royal laugh. So sit back, relax, and enjoy me, Iain Lee, versus radio, live, recorded on Sunday, November the 13th, 2016. Exactly a year to the day that I got the sack from the BBC. I'm not bitter, I'm quite bitter.
Sometimes Miley Cyrus, she sings a song or two. She likes to play a guitar as well. Sometimes Miley Cyrus, she has a love with you. She plays country western too, so join in with her too. Come on, join the gang, Miley Cyrus too. Miley Cyrus plays the guitar and sings along with you. Come on, join the gang, Miley Cyrus too.
Here he is, Mr. Iain Lee.
I used to like him. He was cool. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. Shit, there's loads of you. Did you enjoy your free T-shirts and DVDs? Free. Actual free stuff. Who'd have thought it? This place is amazing, isn't it? Did anyone even know this place existed? No, well, now you know it exists. And we're going to trash it afterwards. How's about that? Listen, thank you very much for coming. Tonight is kind of... with my friend Simon is filming it, by the way, which means it's probably going to be a fucking disaster, as that's the way these things go. But it's not... what is tonight? I don't really know. Did anyone see me when I did this show last year, Iain Lee versus Radio? Yeah. Not that many of you. I've changed shitloads of it. For 6 people. Bollocks. I've put in loads of new bits that I don't think are going to work, and you've not seen it, so it don't matter. Right, well, what it is, right, it's not like a comedy night. Okay? You might laugh at some bits, but it's not, it's not me going to stand here telling jokes. I can tell a joke if you want. You can tell why. I'll tell you a joke. You can tell why I did stand up for a while, but I was never very good at it. And here's the first joke I ever wrote. It goes a little bit like this. I saw us. How does it go? Okay. Goes. I saw. This is the first joke I ever wrote when I was going to be a stand-up comedian. I saw a sign outside a church hall the other day. It said, "Come for coffee. Come for coffee." I thought, yeah, that sounds like a fair swap. I would go into comedy clubs and say that and try and make a career. And then the second joke I ever wrote was I quite like this one. I saw a book the other day. Delia Smith, you'd update it now, it'd be like Jamie Oliver or some, I don't know, Mary Berry. Oh, Mary Berry, there we go, do that. I saw a book the other day, Mary Berry, Cooking with Ease. That's hardly a responsible attitude to have towards drugs. Okay, that I genuinely thought was a good gag. You've let yourselves down there. Hello, the people sat there. You won't be able to see anything, don't matter. Piano, if you fancy a go. I got told off for putting stuff on the piano, so don't even look at the fucking piano, right? That piano is not there. There's nothing to do with us. We don't even think about it, because I'll get another telling off. Right, so the show is basically, it's called Iain Lee versus Radio, and it's me kind of trying to convey why I love radio so much, why I really enjoy working in radio, and why I enjoy, I can show you, I can illustrate it with a picture, there we go, and why I love listening to radio. And hopefully, by the end of the show, you'll kind of understand how I like to do radio a little bit better. And you might consider going listening to a few other people that I kind of recommend and stuff. There'll be an interval in the middle, so I'll do a bit, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll have another bit, so you can go home if you get really bored. But I need to kind of work out who listens to me on talk radio. Who used to listen to me on 3 Counties? Who's been dragged here by their boyfriend? There we go. And it will generally be women that have been, I don't want to go and see him, he's a twat. I did used to be on TV. I don't know if that impresses you. 11 o'clock show, yes, I have pictures to prove I've been on TV. Here we go. That's me as a baby. Exactly. Oh, see, now all the women that were dragged are going, oh, actually, he's not so bad. How could you call him a twat? You can't. You can't do it. He's beautiful. I did then grow into this. Now, no. Don't do drugs, kids. Otherwise, you look like Skeletor. Jesus. That was a shot taken from the ill-fated Channel 4 breakfast show Rise. That I get some people going, oh, I used to love you on The Big Breakfast. Well, I didn't fucking do The Big Breakfast. So, I don't know how that's possible. Here's me as an Egyptian. Now, that was for, look at that, busting some moves. Look at the trainers, you see, got the lips sticking out and everything. That was for Let's Dance for Comic Relief, where I got beaten by Chesney Hawkes. And I don't, that is supposed to be straight. That's what the problem is. I was a little bit on the wonk, you see. I do, one of the problems, because I used to be on TV, and I'm not really anymore. And that's fine, that's my choice. It's my choice not to be on TV. People kind of think they know me. So some people will sort of recognise me in the street, but not know who I am. And I get mistaken for a lot of people. I get mistaken for this guy a lot. Marlon Dingle. Can you see it? Yeah. Who said yes? That's rude. No, don't look at everyone's pointing. Wasn't me. Seriously, the number of times, I mean, I'm walking down this, oi, Marlon! And you sort of look around and they go, I'm not even the guy. I just showed them that picture of me as a baby. And I also get mistaken for Ralph Little quite a lot. Richard Bacon, bizarrely, again, it must be the cocaine thing. I'm going to show you somebody else I've been mistaken for quite a few times. See if you can spot the obvious difference. For those who can't see, he's a black man. Liam Dutton, the most miserable weatherman in the world. 'Cause loads of people think I'm Liam Dutton. I don't know why. I don't know why. And I was bored bored. Ages ago, and I changed my Twitter picture to Liam Dutton, right? And within an hour, Liam Dutton had found my email and he'd sent me an email saying, why have you got me as your Twitter picture? And I said, just thought it'd be a laugh. People say we look alike. He said, well, I'm black, you're white. I said, do you mind? If you're going to be offended by it, then I'll change it. He said, no, I don't mind, but there are two rules I'd like you to follow. The first one is you can only have my picture up for 24 hours. And the second one is you're not allowed to give any weather predictions. As if, I'd say, there's a big massive storm coming and we're all going to die. And then somehow it'll be linked to Liam Dutton and he'd lose his job at Channel 4 weather. But I have been on TV before, and this is kind of where I'm going to try out some new bits and pieces. I mean, the show is mainly about radio and about why I love working in radio so much, but I do want to kind of show you some of the bits and pieces that I've done on TV that maybe you guys haven't seen, right? What I'm going to show you are two of my earliest TV appearances. They're awful, right? There's no. Hey, look, man, I was brilliant when I was young. It was awful, absolutely awful, right? And the first one is the weirdest thing. I was in the audience for a TV show when I was about 20 with my mate, and the guy that was hosting it was a pre-recorded show. He said, "Right, we haven't got an ending for the show. Can anybody here play the drums?" And this woman put her hand up. She went, yeah, I can play the drums. And so she went down and said, right, well, this is the end of the show and this woman's going to play the drums. And then she sat there and she went, I can't play the drums. And he said, well, I really want someone to play the drums. So I put my hand up and said, yeah, I can play the drums. I can't play the fucking drums. But once, I was given the drumsticks, I felt the power of rock within me. You're going to see the shittest drumming ever. And if you watch carefully, I smack myself in the eye with a drumstick as well. Have a look at this.
Well, it's time for our old boot heels to be wandering once again. Thanks to everybody who joined us. Certainly thanks to you for watching in. I hope we've satisfactorily got you orally into the AM, if you know what I mean. You probably know at the end of every show and every week, right after you think it's finished, we like to give you something extra. Well, when I came out here tonight, I said, anyone do anything? So to take us off the air this evening, please welcome from the audience a bloke called Iain. Iain! Iain? How you doing? Iain, I'm sorry to do this to you. Free beer!
It was my first ever TV appearance. I showed that to Danny Baker the other week. He went, fucking hell, that's shit. Oh, I need to cut that bit off. Right, okay, that's fine. We might get onto Ghostbusters 2 a bit later on. A couple of years after that, when I was trying to be a stand-up, there was a TV station launched called Live TV that was run... I think Nick Ferrari ran it for a while, and maybe Kelvin McKenzie. It was awful. They had a programme on there called Topless Darts, and it was literally topless women playing darts. They had the dwarf weatherman who, to reach Scotland, he had to bounce on a trampoline to get up to Scotland. And then they had this programme called Stand Up Live. Pretend you haven't heard the jokes before. Genuinely... this is awful, right? And there's about 15 people there, and I really thought I was shit hot, and I had something special. Instead, it's
without further ado, let me introduce a very funny man. I've seen him many times before. He's a good friend of mine, and he definitely delivers his comedy at pre-budget prices. Please give it up for Mr. Iain Lee.
This is awful, right?
Thank you very much. Tell me you think this is right. I saw a book the other day. It was called Delia Smith. Cooking with Ease. Hardly a responsible attitude to have towards drugs there, I think.
Similar response.
A funny part of what I was
to this
saying.
evening.
Thanks very much. But anyway, I tell you, my mother is the only woman I know, which is quite sad, really. I suppose I should get out more and try and meet some more people. I don't know, but we're in Canary Wharf. Isn't Canary Wharf a friendly place?
Fuck yeah!
No, it is lovely, isn't it? What's your name, my darling?
Tracy.
Jessie?
Tracy.
Tracy. Ah, what a surprise. Now, oh, come on, hey. I'd like to thank, anyway. But what a friendly place Canary Wharf is.
It was, and I would go and do that every week for and get 20 quid for doing that, and it was awful. It was just the most awful thing. But luckily, I found my way into radio, and radio is kind of has fed my kids, and it pays my mortgage, and I enjoy listening to the radio, and I enjoy doing the radio. And as we go on through the evening, I'll kind of give you some of the tricks that I use when I'm doing the radio. But before that, the reason I like radio so much is most of it's live. You know, most of it is kind of live. There's very few live TV programs anymore. Everything is pre-recorded. Everything goes through filters. Everything is edited and is tightened, and there's nothing dangerous that can happen. But when you're listening to the radio, most of it is live. Have a listen to this first clip. This is my friend Paul Scoynes. He's doing a very nice local radio program about, well, he's just talking about a fete that's going on. And this is just a delicious little example of how beautifully radio can go wrong.
And I hope you have a good day tomorrow as well. So thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
And that's the Great Bastard... I can't believe I just said that. That's the Great Barford Festival, which is being held today and tomorrow at the Bedfordshire village of Great Barford. That's Maureen Munley. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Isn't it beautiful? Just a lovely little thing. We've all done it. If you've ever been on radio, if you've ever had a microphone in front of you and the red light goes on, sometimes you get tongue-tied and you're thinking, I mustn't say this, great bastard. And he says it. And it's a real, you get a knot in the stomach, your mouth kind of dries and your head starts spinning as you're thinking, oh God, how do I get out of this? There are more clips like this for radio than there are for TV. There are dozens of them. Now have a listen to this, right? This is, when you're doing the radio, when I'm doing the radio, I like it to be kind of spontaneous and fresh. And if things go wrong, I'll go, oh, things have gone wrong. This is ballsed up. Let's see what we can do. This young lady you're going to hear doesn't have that same attitude, okay? She's reading a script and there's something going wrong. And instead of just saying, oh dear, my computer's knackered, I'm going to stop. Bless her, she keeps on persevering.
For Bolton and Bury, this is 107.4 Tower FM. First for news.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Sarah Euston.
Good start.
Hundreds of thousands of people have left disappointed this new year. After celebrations were cancelled, Glasgow, Belfast and Liverpool pulled their planned outdoor events because of bad weather. Driving rain and winds of up to 70 miles an hour forced Edinburgh to scrap its world-famous Hogmanay party. Revellers who'd come from far and wide to join in were let down.
We've come all the way over the halfway around the world for this.
And then it ends with Joe Mangle, bizarrely. But it's just delicious, isn't it? It's so delicious. She can't say, oh, my computer's broken. She's not programmed to be able to do that. And this is why I love listening to radio. I was listening to, flicking through the BBC local radio stations upstairs before I came down. And I love it. And not because, I mean, some of it is rubbish. A lot of it is brilliant. I do think that local radio is, plays an important part. Here's a clip, right, that illustrates to me how important local radio is. You can do things on local radio that you could never get on 5 Live or Radio 4 or any of the national stations, not even on Talk or LBC. You can break it down and let people know kind of local stories in greater detail. Have a listen to this, right? This is the intro to a news story. It's a really serious news story that because it's local, we can get a bit more detail about it. Gas
across the county. BBC Radio Lancashire.
BBC Radio Lancashire News at 7 o'clock. I'm Gillian Whitworth. Good morning.
There's been another gas explosion in Greater Manchester. Emergency services were called out to Newton Heath just before 8 o'clock last night. Martin James reports.
So, it's a serious story. Gas explosions. Big thing. People are worried. There's been a series of them. What's going on? Are people in danger? Have people died? Have people hurt themselves? Are the police involved? And when you get a story like that, you need a reporter who... You kind of need combinations of things. You need the weight and the gravitas to get across how important the story is. But also you don't want to panic people. You know, you don't want to be... You know, you've got to be calm, let them know it's serious, but let people know that they're safe. Martin James is going to tell us about this story. They've got... Is Martin James in the building? Yes, he is. Excellent. Get Martin James to voice the gas explosion story for me. He's the only man that can do this story justice.
Good morning. There's been another gas explosion in Greater Manchester. Emergency services were called out to Newton Heath just before 8 o'clock last night. Martin James reports.
Emergency services were called out to Briscoe Lane following reports of a gas leak. The police evacuated nearby houses and some 150 residents were found temporary accommodation. The area was cordoned off and just after 10:15 there was an explosion. 2 houses were demolished in the blast and 3 police officers were injured by flying debris. And none of the residents were hurt.
That's like when you go and stay at your nan and granddad's. And you come downstairs in the morning and granddad's in his pyjama bottoms and vest and he's got the paper. Anything in the papers, Grandad? Well, there's been a series of gas explosions. Nobody was injured. It's awful! But it's brilliant, and that's why radio is brilliant, because they have to... No, hang on, that's why radio is rubbish. Doesn't matter. But they have to fill stuff. They always have to fill stuff. And they can't just go on radio... We haven't got anybody, we're going to just play some music. They have to fill it. And that, for me, sums up exactly why radio is so brilliant. Martin James was just a bloke in the office. Fuck it, Martin, you'll do. Get in there. Voice my package, Martin. This next clip, I used to work at LBC. Got sacked from there as well, it doesn't matter. I end up getting sacked from most places. I've got a sweepstake on how long I'll be at talk, so... I've got another week to go as far as I'm aware. But we'll see. I won't be there forever. It's impossible. But it's been taken over by the Sun. They're going to fire my arse off. We've been invited to a Christmas party, though, with Rebecca Brooks. That'll be fun. I used to work at LBC. Did anyone listen to the LBC shows that I did? Hardcore. You know the score. This is what you've been waiting for. Why do you... Now, hang on a minute, you're quite young. You must have been like babies when I was in LBC. Jesus, doesn't it make you sick? Look at these young people with their lives ahead of them. Why did you like the LBC show so much? I don't know. Fair play, no? Fair play. I didn't say it was going to be a quiz, so...
It was different. It got me into all talk radios anyway.
Oh, nice one. No, gateway drug. I like that. Thank you very much. Well, that's very kind. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm always amazed. The number of people that come up to me and say, hey, I used to call you on LBC. I don't know if you remember, but and they tell me the call they did. I don't remember. It was 10 years ago. I don't remember what we had on the show last week. So, if you come up to me and I blank you because of that, it's just because I'm old. But when I was at LBC, we had 2 showbiz reporters there. The main one was a woman called Jo Parkinson. Now, Jo Parkinson was brilliant, right? She, I'll never forget, I was doing the drive time show on LBC, and Gene Pitney died. And Jo Parkinson came in during the travel and said, Gene Pitney's died. Can I do a little, I've got a little obit and we'll play a little package. I went, yeah, of course, that'd be fine. So she came in and the travel finished and I went, okay, well, we're joined now by showbiz correspondent Jo Parkinson. Jo, you got some sad news for us? And she went, yes, Gene Pitney, the singer, has passed away. He was most famous for wearing his dark glasses and singing the song "Oh Pretty Woman." I was thinking, oh Jesus Christ. That was the head showbiz person. The second showbiz person was this lovely lady called Sophie Davidson, and I have no idea where she is now, but she left, and she went to join Heat Radio when Heat Radio was kind of starting, a spin-off of the Shitty magazine, and she went to join Heat Radio as their showbiz correspondent, and we're like, oh, brilliant, nice one, Sophie. Well done. She was such a nice girl, and the first day of the day that her first report was going to be broadcast, she sent an email around to everyone saying, I'm going to be on the showbiz the midday news doing a showbiz report. Please listen, everybody, please listen. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, we'll listen, Sophie. It'd be nice to support you and cheer you on and stuff. So we all listened. I'm so glad we did.
The magazine. Online. HeatWorld.com.
And on radio. This is Heat.
From Heat Towers at 11 o'clock, I'm Sophie Davidson. Kerry Katona has miscarried. She was taken to hospital last night for treatment just hours after announcing she was pregnant. Simon Cowell saves lives. X-Factor failure Jackie Gray says Simon Cowell's nasty comments about her voice made her go and see a doctor. She's now been diagnosed with a lung condition and is getting it seen to. Here's the song that made Simon weep. I'm really scared. Don't tell anyone that I'm freaking out. Fucking bastards. It's because I can't print out my fucking script. Okay, it's fine.
It wasn't fine, Sophie. She got sacked immediately. I think they should have kept her on and given her her own show. It's brilliant, but she got sacked immediately. I have a love-hate relationship with local radio. When I went to... We're in kind of Three Counties territory, so I'm guessing some of you listened to the Three Counties show when I was there. And when I went to work at Three Counties, I did it because I couldn't get a job anywhere else. I'd got the boot from Absolute, and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job anywhere. And I went and saw loads of. I went had meetings at Magic. Imagine me on Magic. I had a meeting. I had a meeting at Magic. I had a meeting at Heart, right, at Heart FM. And you go for jobs and you don't want it, but you got to feed the kids. And I never forget the boss of Heart met me, and he was 10 minutes late, and he came and said, I'm really sorry for being late, but I've just had a really successful meeting with all the presenters. I went, all right, why was it so successful? And he said, well, I've told them that at 27 seconds, their links are too long, and they have to be below 18 seconds. And I just sat there thinking, I don't want to work for this prick. 18-second links. I love the personality. But when I went to work at local radio, I didn't really want to do it, and I kind of arrogantly thought it was a bit beneath me. Over the years, I was there for 4 years. Over the 4 years that I was there, I completely changed my opinion, and I think local radio is brilliant, and I think it does a lot. I do think it is flawed massively, and it's primarily flawed because of people like this. Now, does anyone know this gentleman? Yes. Richard Spendlove, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Spendlove. Now, I don't want to pick on Richard. That would be too easy. But it's people like Richard that are the real problem with BBC local radio. It is predominantly white, heterosexual, middle-class men in their 60s upwards who worked there. I'll never forget, when I was at Three Counties, I had a female boss, and I said, how come we haven't got any women presenting on the station? And she said to me, oh, because people don't like to listen to women on the radio. Wow! So she was the problem as well. But it's people like this that are the problem. They are completely safe in their jobs. Whatever they do, they will always have a job at BBC local radio. You can switch it on any time of the day or night and you will hear people like this. There are some brilliant people on there, some absolutely brilliant people on there. I work with some brilliant people, but people like him are killing local radio. Now, He's been presenting the late night show on Saturday nights across the sort of southeast and eastern region for about 25 years. And here's a lovely clip of him from about 18 months ago when he's describing what it was like when he started working in radio doing this slot. It's a really interesting insight into what radio used to be like.
When I started this show 25 years ago, on the first night, the programme organiser said to me, "Richard, don't be despondent if you don't get any callers for the first few weeks." This was at a time before emails or pretty much computers or anything like that. He said, "Don't be despondent if you don't get any calls for the first few weeks." I had 156 callers the first night. She could not write them down fast enough. Now, last week, I had 56 emails and 15 callers. That's about 4 to 1 or something of that order.
Okay, so when he started, he said you won't get any calls. He had 156 callers. That was years ago. Things have changed, and now, whether we like it or not, emails and texts and all these kind of things, we get more emails and the caller number's down. But 15 calls over a 2-hour show that plays music and also has guests, that's not bad. You can get a decent show out of that. He must be really pleased.
Now, the situation is this. This is the first time I've ever said this, so I want you to understand that I don't say this lightly. If that ratio doesn't soon alter, I am going to retire. Because I'm not going to sit here all night reading emails. I don't mind reading emails, but I expect callers as well. And if you don't want to call, then you need another presenter doing a different programme. And mark my words, I'm not speaking lightly about this. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want me to go. I don't know.
Yes, we do.
But certainly, I said to my wife last week, if this continues, I'm packing in. This is for Sue in Kent, because she likes
Boom! That is smooth. He's told all of you off for not phoning in for his crappy phone-ins about Muslims. And then he goes straight into a record. Disappointingly, that man didn't quit. He still works there and still hogs the radio. I mentioned local radio. It is important. It's great. Here's the thing, right? And I tell you this, and I want you to use this information sensibly if you can, please. On Talk Radio and on LBC and Absolute and all commercial radio stations, we have a thing called a 7-second delay. Now, the way the 7-second delay works is, if I'm talking in the studio to someone on the phone, you hear it on the radio 7 seconds later. And the reason for that is if a guest or a caller phones up and libels someone or swears, I can hit the dump button, which is a big red button, I hit that, get rid of the caller, and that 7 seconds of radio disappears and you never hear it. And if you're listening to when I'm talking and Jonathan is on, for example, you may hear the conversation jump a couple of times, and that's me dumping him because he said something incredibly libelous. That's all commercial radio stations. The BBC, on all of its networks, doesn't have a 7-second delay. So you could phone up 5 Live, BBC Radio 4, any of the local radio stations, and say literally anything you wanted to, and it would get broadcast on the radio. Do with that information as you see fit. Couldn't encourage you to phone up Richard Spendlove and call him a tosser. I couldn't do that. And that is a real problem for BBC Local Radio, and I have no idea why it is. It means, though, that stories like this can get told. It's a young lady. She's been slighted in her local community. So she's phoned up her local radio station to set the story straight.
I just want you to describe what happened, really, and what happened to you.
No, this lad called Leaford is shit-stirring, saying that I've sucked him off and that he's fingered me and I've been doing dirty stuff to him, but I haven't.
The presenter's gone, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. But that's what local radio should be for. This guy has been saying that she sucked him off, he fingered her, she's been doing dirty stuff, and she hasn't. Well, she's gone on local radio to set it straight. I'll give you another example of why the BBC should have a 7-second delay. James Max, he's a good friend of mine. I went to a Spice Girls concert with him. True story. This is him about 4 o'clock in the morning when Boris Johnson was still the mayor of London, before Brexit, before all of that stuff. He was still the mayor of London. He's doing a phone-in about Boris.
So what's wrong with... You clearly don't like Boris. What's wrong with him?
I think he's a cunt.
Now...
I beg your pardon? Oh, I don't think we'll have that, thank you very much indeed. I hope you didn't hear that.
The shocked look on that lady's face. The C-bomb got dropped. The C-bomb was dropped. It's true, though. It's true, though. Okay, we'll do about another 5 minutes, then we'll have a break. I worked at 2 BBC local radio stations. I do BBC 3 counties in the week, and then on a Friday I would drive up the M1, Watford Gap, 20-minute nap. Then I would go to BBC WM in the West Midlands, and would do a show there. And I loved it. It was really weird because it was completely different audiences, and you get a different kind of response. My new boss at BBC WM hated me. The guy that employed me loved it and got the act. The second one. She said, Iain, your show scares me. It's so dangerous. This is not dangerous. I know what the rules are. And what she meant was, 10 minutes before the show, I would go, right, I'm off to the studio. And she'd say, what's on your show today? And I go, I don't know. And that terrified her. And I didn't know, but that terrified her. But while I was working there was a brilliant lady who was on before me called Caroline Martin, right? Caroline Martin, I think, is brilliant. She's everything local radio should be. She's from the area. She's kind of chatty. She's like the kind of person that you'd have a chat with at the bus stop or over the garden fence or something like that. People feel that they can share their stories with her, right? The story you're going to hear is horrible. It's a really horrible, horrible story. But it's told in a very charming way, and Caroline deals with it absolutely brilliantly.
Tell us the story about the stick in your knickers.
Oh, yeah. That was terrible, that was. Do you know, I was broken in by a stick. We were all sitting down in the field playing, and this little boy poked me with a stick up my mint. Oh, it did hurt.
Rosie,
Caroline.
There
She's
are many
trying to
words
cover
you could use instead of that one, but basically, listen, Rosie, I think that you've been through an awful lot, and you've been through an awful lot of grief in the last few months as well, sweetheart. But you are laughing, and I'm sure that inside, obviously, things are still hurting for you, my darling. But thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, Rosie. And we must apologise for the use of that word. No, not again. All right, okay. Do you know what? I think at this juncture we might have a little bit of Maroon 5.
Yeah. From one fanny to another. But and that to me, I think Caroline, is a genius, absolute genius. And that to me is what good local radio should be. It should be chatty, it should be friendly, it should be warm. Okay. Yeah, we've got time to do this. I'm going to take you to one of the darkest periods of my radio career. There's been quite a few, and you're all thinking, well, what is it? This was genuinely one of the most upsetting periods of my time. Does anyone recognise this gentleman here? It's Dwayne Chambers. Anyone know why Dwayne Chambers is famous? Drugs cheat. He was an athlete, an excellent athlete, but he used drugs to enhance his performance. And he was on this quite a few years ago. He was on 5 Live talking to Victoria Derbyshire, another person who I think is brilliant. And I just have a listen. So this is Dwayne Chambers on the Victoria Derbyshire show.
Carl, thanks very much. Tony.
Yeah, that fella's saying we should give him the opportunity, Miss Derbyshire. We have given him the opportunity. He has come on with a right old attitude.
Anyone recognise Tony? Yeah, it was this twat. She was giving him such an easy ride, right? And I thought, oh, come on, man, he's a drugs cheat. He could kind of go in there for the kill a little bit more. And so I thought it'd be a really good idea to phone up, pretend my name was Tony, and challenge him. It was literally the worst thing I could have done.
Carl, thanks very much. Tony?
Yeah, that fella's saying we should give him the opportunity, Miss Derbyshire. We have given him the opportunity. He has come on with a right old attitude, had a pop at you, been all defensive. Oh, I can't say that for legal reasons. The legal reason is he wants us to spend our hard-earned money to buy a book to cheat. He's had his opportunity, and in my mind, he has ruined it by having an attitude, by being unrepentant. There was a Scottish fella comparing him to the suffragette.
Someone did compare him to a
He's a
suffragette.
drug cheat runner. The only reason he can run any fast is because he's whacked up to the eyeballs on goofballs.
So hang on, do you apply this across life? No one should be given a second chance?
No, they shouldn't. No one should be given.
Have you ever made a mistake in your life, Tony?
Well, I've never deliberately taken drugs so that I could beat other people who trained hard at running so I could be a faster runner. Lottery money, the £2 a week I spend on the lottery is going to feed him on protein shakes and goofballs. That's outrageous, Victoria. Outrageous.
Do you want to say anything to him, Dwayne?
I've got a plan.
No, I'm going to buy your book and then I'm going to burn your book without reading it.
Tony, thanks very much. Let me just tell you, there are quite a number...
Right. So that was about 11 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a phone call from a withheld number. Hello? Yeah, hello, is that Iain Lee? Yeah. This is the producer of the Victoria Derbyshire show. It's like, yeah? Did you call us earlier on? Pretending to be called Tony. Yeah. And she asked this beautiful question. She said, why did you do it? And I didn't have an answer. I got in so much trouble for that. Just incredible amounts of trouble. I was working at Absolute at the time, and I was also doing shifts at Six Music. I was also on the One Show. Imagine, I was on the One Show. I got dumped from the One Show immediately. They wouldn't return my phone calls. I got kicked off Six Music. It turns out, the very next day, I was going to be offered a show on Radio 2. That never happened. And honestly, I was so depressed, and I just watching all these things that I kind of built up falling apart. And I remember going into Highgate Woods one night crying, thinking, I'm never going to work again. I'm never ever going to work again. Luckily, I did. Just about. And I ended up at this place. Sums up my ex-bosses quite nicely. You know, it's a year to the day. November the 13th was the last show I did on Three Counties before they fucked me over and didn't back me up. But I'm fine with that now. 2 nervous breakdowns later. But I ended up working at Three Counties for a while. I've got some things here. We don't need to read. This is the kind of stuff I get sent in. Your DJ is a cock, lol. Fun times. But we can have a quick break. But before we do that, I want to play you one clip. The Three Counties thing ended in bitterness, and it was absolutely devastating to me and the people I work with. But the 4 years I had there was some of the best time I've ever had on the radio, and I was allowed to get away with absolute murder and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I want to play you one clip from Three Counties that I think sums up what it was like for me to work there. I felt like I was doing 2 kinds of shows. I was doing the kind of straight local radio breakfast show, and then underneath that, I was doing this weird, sort of surreal, vaguely psychedelic thing, and I had a great team around me that would recognise when I was going off on one and would kind of indulge me. We had Catherine, who's here somewhere, and Justin and Kelly. And this is one of my favourite clips from there, okay? Then we'll have a quick break, I promise. This is, I'd gone on and said something like everybody over the age of 67 should be forced to retake their driving test every 2 years because they are, a potential danger to everybody on the roads. And this guy called Jeff phones up, right? Now, Jeff, I don't remember how old he is. He'll tell us. They always do. I want to ask Jeff one question, okay? Jeff, do you drive slowly? That's the question. Jeff, do you drive slowly? That's all I want to know.
He
people walk across the road, so you've got to make sure that there's no accident.
Do you drive... Jeff, let's be honest. Do you drive...
Yes, I do.
No, hang on. Let me finish the sentence. Do you drive...
Yes.
No, let me finish.
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yes, and when I go through the village, they push you along to go faster.
OK, let me finish this. Jeff, do you drive...
Yes, I do.
Hang on. Jeff, do you drive...
Yes, I do.
I know. Hang on. I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yes, only certain journeys. Yeah, because I'm 80 years old.
Good for you. Well done, fella. But, Jeff...
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yes, I do.
I know. There's more coming.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yes, I do.
I know you do.
Yes, and I've only had one accident in all my time.
Well, I hope you're all right. But, Jeff...
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yeah.
No, hang on. Do you drive...
Yes.
I know you do.
Yeah.
There's more coming.
Yeah.
Do you drive...
Yeah.
Well, that's great to know. Jeff, thanks very much for your call.
I'll see you in about 15 minutes. Cheers.
LBC 97.3.
Iain Lee's Good Evening.
Esther.
Sorry, I've had the wrong number. I want Essex.
You want sex?
I wanted Essex.
Oh no, David Essex.
Yeah, no, I wanted the Essex programme. I want to rang the LBC number.
Oh blimey, you're not listening to BBC Essex, are you?
Well, from time to time I do.
That's all right. What are they doing on there?
I've been listening to LBC since it started, 73.
73. You want excellent. You want one of those. What do you think of Iain Lee?
Oh, he's all right.
Yeah, he's not
I like them all.
Clive Ball's good, isn't he?
No, they're all right.
What were you phoning into Essex for then? What are they doing that's warranted a phone call from you?
They're, you've got to guess who's talking.
Oh, we can do that here.
No, well, voices.
Yeah, OK, hang on a second. Have a guess who this is.
I've knocked about a time. I've knocked about a time. I've knocked about a time.
Who do you think that is?
I bet it's you.
No, it's not. I'll give you a clue. It's Duncan Bannatyne. Have another listen.
I've knocked about a time. I've knocked about a time.
It's Duncan Bannatyne. Who do you think it is?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you want to hear it again? It's Duncan Bannatyne. I'll play it again. Here we go.
I've knocked about a time. I've knocked about a time. I've knocked about a time.
Duncan Bannatyne. Who do you think it is, Esther?
Clive Ball.
Clive Ball. No, good guess. Esther, well, listen, Esther, thank you for calling in.
Oh, all right.
And I hope you... Who do you think the voice is on the Essex competition?
Andrea Lodge.
Andrea Lodge, is it? Yeah. Well, Esther, good luck on that.
I hope so. If I can think of the number, when I'm running your number.
Oh, blimey.
With me.
Yeah,
So, it's the age.
It could be.
80 odd.
There we go. It took you 4 minutes to say that. Esther, best of luck. Thanks for calling, love.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. What a nice lady. By the way, if you want to play the Mystery Voice competition...
I've knocked about a time.
That's what you got to guess. 0870 9090 973.
The reason such as myself can't park in a normal bay is that I have to have my door fully extended.
Yes.
I can't put one leg out and then twist and get the other leg out. I have to turn my whole body and get the two legs out at the same time. Otherwise, I'd split my spine.
Pat, let me bring Barry from Watford in. Barry, when you hear a story like Pat, who could end up splitting her spine, it's a good argument, isn't it, for the blue badge?
Well, it is, but, you know, I mean, I know people have medical problems, but where we live, there's an independent supermarket with a parking bay for blue holders.
Blue badge holders?
Blue badge. But my wife, they do a certain biscuit there. You can't get it anywhere else. It's like a Viscount biscuit with a minty interior that my wife likes.
No brand names, please.
Oh, sorry. It's a minty biscuit.
Yeah.
A minty biscuit, and it's got two halves, chocolate on the top and
we've got
on the bottom.
We've got the biscuit, Barry.
It's wrapped in silver foil.
Okay, we've got the biscuit.
Right,
Yeah.
so she's very fond of them,
Yes.
and it's got a sort of soft centre in the middle.
It's a minty biscuit. Yeah, we've got that, Barry.
A minty biscuit.
Yeah, minty
and
biscuit.
And it's the only place you can get this minty biscuit.
Yeah.
So sometimes, in order to get it, It's got quite crunchy. It's a crunchy.
It's a crunchy minty biscuit. We've got the biscuit, Barry.
It's a crunchy minty biscuit. Chocolate.
We've got the biscuit, Barry. So
chocolate.
Tell us the story.
Sorry. Well, this biscuit, the crunchy minty biscuit that she likes, you can only get from this particular shop.
What's that got to do with blue badges, Barry?
Well, she likes this biscuit, and sometimes I can't get there unless I park and use the blue badge to go and get it.
Do you have a blue badge?
Yes.
Are you entitled to a blue badge?
She is, but I use it to get the biscuit. It's a very nice biscuit,
Okay.
you know, it's baked and it's a chocolate affair.
Okay, Barry, let me bring Pat back in. Barry is using his wife's blue badge to get what sounds like, let's be honest, a very delicious minty chocolate biscuit.
It is delicious.
okay.
It is delicious.
If that's the only place he can get the biscuit, Pat, then what's so bad about that?
Well, I haven't disagreed with it, have I? I mean, I can understand his predicament.
Yeah, it's very nice.
He
It's a lovely one.
can use... Can I just finish? He can use his wife's badge if he's shopping for his wife, but he couldn't use it for himself.
Exactly. I've eaten the biscuit. Don't get me wrong, I've had it. I've had one before. And they're jolly nice. But my wife, they're mostly for my wife, and the neighbour comes round, he's quite keen. He doesn't quite the orange ones, but he likes the minty ones. And I've gone round and got that, 4 of them.
So Pat, you're saying that in this instance, it's fine to use a blue badge?
Yes, because because he's shopping for his wife. But you do find there are people who use the blue badge, the badge of the owner, for their own shopping, and that's wrong.
Pat, thank you very much. Barry, it's a powerful point you've made. No doubt we'll get lots of calls on that.
Okay, well, the orange one isn't so nice, as I say, it's the minty one, really.
We're going to... it's travel now, so thanks very much, Barry.
Thank you,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
03453 009956.
You've heard him on the radio. You've seen him on television. You've heard him on the podcast. Live in London, Iain Lee.
Luton, London Airport. Fuck off. It's not London. Imagine you've come from America. Oh, in London. No, it's Luton. It's not London. Anyway, that was Barry from Watford, and I hate to break it to some of you guys. Barry from Watford isn't real. Oh, I did that the first time I did this show about 2 years ago, and I said Barry from Watford isn't real. And there was a woman in the front going, "You're fucking joking!" And she thought he was real. And for a long time, people thought he was real. And the joy about when Barry phones up, or Alex phones up, is I don't know what he's going to say. We never plan it. We never rehearse it. That time, I was at BBC WM, and I got a text from Alex saying, "Are you on air? What are you talking about?" And I rattled off a list of things. 10 minutes later, he pops up on the screen, and he's taking the piss out of a woman whose spine could snap if she gets out of a car the wrong way. And my boss at the time there, it was the boss that liked me, he phoned me up after the show and he said, Barry from Watford isn't real, is he? I went, well, no, he's not. He's not real. It's my mate Alex. He said, right, we don't like having fake callers on the show. It brings into question the integrity of the BBC. And I was like, okay, I won't do it again. I'll let him know. Thanks very much. And then someone posted that clip online, and within a week it had just under 1 million views, including this brilliant comment on Reddit, which is, I don't know what Reddit is, but it's like an American website. And this kid had written, "This is the most British thing I've ever heard in my life." And it got 1 million views, and I phoned my boss up and said, "Hey, your radio station has had 1 million hits. Can we carry on doing it like this, please?" He went, "Okay, fine, just this once." So that is another reason why I love, and I can't really do it now. I could do it at LBC, I could do it a little bit at the BBC, but people are wise to it now. And the old woman there was genuine, and Barry was fake. And that's what I was saying about doing two shows. It's kind of a straight, show at the top, and then underneath there's all kinds of surreal, psychedelic stuff going on. I should ask, who, apart from me, what else do people listen to? Has anyone got, just shout out, like, favourite radio? James O'Brien. We're a fan of James O'Brien? Yeah, he's good. It's good. You know I destroyed him in a 400-metre race. Did you know that? Yeah, this is back in the days in LBC when you could have fun. Do you remember this? Do you remember when I raced him? I destroyed him, didn't I? Now who's got a job on Newsnight? Oh, no, shit, he has, right. James is good. I like James. I thought he wimped out a little bit this week about Donald Trump, though. I was kind of expecting him to go in for the kill, and he's kind of... he's bottled it a little bit. Anybody else people like? Nick Abbott. Just you. Wow. Why? Tell me why. I love Nick Abbott. I think he's the master. Why do you like Nick?
The soundboards.
Yeah.
And how he could build up a whole paragraph or 2 minutes just to use like one sound.
Yeah.
And it's just been talking about Brexit for the past half year. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm so bored of Trump. The worst thing that Donald Trump has done is he's killed phone-in radio in this country. Seriously, I was listening to a little bit of LBC this morning, and it was Andrew Pass the Parcel with Andrew Castle. And it was the last hour of his show, and it was Trump. And then he handed over to Katie Hopkins, and the first hour of her show was Trump. And it's like, Jesus, God, why are we having so much Trump? Nick Abbott, I think, is a master. I think, you know, to talk about doing the two shows at once, that's kind of, I've nicked so much stuff from Nick Abbott. You know, I'm quite happy to admit I've stolen stuff from Nick Abbott, Tommy Boyd, Danny Baker, and the master, and I will not have a word said against this gentleman, Clive Bull. Is the fist pump in the air. Clive Bull is the greatest radio broadcaster this country's got, and you'll be thinking, yeah, but it's a bit boring. No. It shows that he can do anything. When I was at LBC, he was giving me a run for my money with the stupid surreal stuff. I think Clive Bull is the master, and I bowed down in front of him. When I was at LBC came at a really good time for me because TV work had dried up. It stopped completely. I had a year after Rise where I didn't work, and then I got offered some shifts at LBC, and that kind of started. And also I split up halfway through LBC. I split up with a girlfriend that I've been going out with for 8 years, and it was kind of intense. And suddenly I was living in a flat on my own for the first time, right? And I had money because LBC paid quite well. And so I kind of filled my time in a really sad, pathetic way. I would spend an absolute fortune phoning up late-night TV and various gaming channels, which I don't think you can do now, saying, is it Ghostbusters 2? Now, I did this dozens of times. And the thing is, for those who don't know, they would have these shows and there were different channels, and I think they've changed the law now. I don't know if they can still do it. But you would have like a board of 10 answers and you had to guess. One of them was pairs. So it was something and something. And you'd phone up and it was like £1.50 a minute. And you'd phone up, but you weren't always guaranteed you get on. So it could take 30 minutes of calls before you got on for your chance to win £1,000. And I would just spend 30 minutes waiting and phoning and going, is it Ghostbusters 2? And I got a bill for £860. But it was worth it for gold like this. Shows beginning with M. That's what we're after.
Hello, who's there? Hello? Anyone there?
Hello?
Hello, who's that?
Hello?
Hello, who's that?
Hello?
Hi, who's that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Tony.
Tony, what's your answer? What's your answer, Tony?
Well, is it Ghostbusters 2?
She's not happy!
Shall I laugh now?
Yes!
Or shall I just laugh myself to sleep later? Shall I give you that call back? Because that was just a bit of a waste of time, really, wasn't it, Tony? You're not funny. You're not clever.
And I'm literally on the floor in my living room, in my pants, pissing myself. And when they got grumpy, some of them would buy into it and go, oh, yeah, you're the Ghostbusters 2 guy. But when they got angry with me, I'd phone them up again. An hour later, I got back to her and she was furious. And I filmed them, put them on YouTube, then I lost them all. Now, back to radio, because I was, that as soon as I got that first phone bill in, that that game stopped because that was stupid. That was stupid. But back to radio, and the clip I'm going to play you now is it's a guy called Big George, right? Now, Big George sadly passed away a few years ago. I never got to work with him, but I know loads of people that he's kind of crossed their paths. He did BBC London and lots of BBC local radio, and everyone said he was an absolute gentleman, you know, which is quite rare in this business. Most people are massive shits. And everyone said he was an absolute gentleman. And he also wrote the theme tune to shows like Have I Got News for You and a few others. He wrote the theme tune. And he's a master. Now, this is a clip. And this was the clip that gave me the idea to do this whole show. This is him. When you've got callers, right, there's a random element. You don't know what you're going to get. And if you've got the 7-second delay, it's fine. This doesn't. But that's why I love doing phone-in radio, because you've got callers coming in and it's random and you don't know what they're going to say. When you've got guests, like in this clip, you kind of know what they're going to say. You've talked about the questions you're going to ask, and generally you've had them on before, so you know they're quite trustworthy. And in this instance, it's Big George, talking to an elderly female professor. Call me sexist and ageist, but an elderly female professor. Generally think you're going to be okay. And they're talking about bad language.
Why do we always say a horrible word when we hurt ourselves?
Well, I mean, I think that one feels that one has to push the bounds, and sometimes people push these not knowing what they're saying. I mean, I'm not sure if I should say this on radio, but I was walking along the road and somebody was playing there a radio very loud, and they said, and I was sort of staring at them, and this chap said, F your C. Fuck your cunt.
Oh! Really?
Was that a...
Yeah, well, we're now off air and light music is now being played.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't
we shouldn't be
seem
saying stuff like
fazed
that,
by
Bob,
it.
and I'm sure that you should know. So thank you very much indeed for joining me.
He's furious.
Yes, I do apologise for that. When you have a professor on the air, you would hope that they would have a little bit more professionalism about them. I do apologise for that.
Beautiful, and that clip, that 2-minute clip, sums up to me why radio is the best thing in the world. It's so much better than TV. That would never have happened on TV. It's so much better than print media. Radio is wonderful, and you know, I'm sure afterwards he would have killed himself laughing. But on air, you've got to be, you know, I'm sorry, that's really bad. That shouldn't have happened. But it's just delightful. Now, what's this next clip? Oh yeah. This is, all right, this is another clip that shows that BBC needs a 7-second delay. This is BBC 5 Live, which is a very dry station. My ambition, the dream was, when I went to BBC Local Radio, was to do that for 5 years and then end up at 5 Live, doing a show at 5 Live. I got to do a show at 5 Live after 3 years. Yeah, that's right. And I did it. And it was the most miserable experience of my broadcasting life. They let me do a Saturday night show, 8 till 11 or 8 till 10, something like that. And I toned the act down to like 1 out of 10. The act was down on number 1. And I did it, and it was kind of like a sort of slightly fun show. It was a magazine-y type show. And I did it, and I came out thinking, yeah, that was great. And the boss got in touch with my agent and said, yeah, we didn't really like what Iain did. There was too much personality in it. I turned it down to 1. There was no personality in it. So I kind of got in touch with them. I begged them. I said, look, okay, I think I know what you want. Let me come and do another show. Let me come and do one more show, and we'll see if we can make this work. And they gave me the through the night shift, 2 Saturday and Sunday, I think it was, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. I mean, just, you know, and I turned the act down to 0. You know, it was robo-me reading the script and interviewing their dull guests. And afterwards, I said to them, how did that go? They went, absolutely perfect. We loved it. We'd love you to come back and do some more. And I went, do you know what? I don't think I can do that. It was awful. Here's a clip from 5 Live. And it's Phil Williams, I think, is the name of the guy presenting it. And he's obviously not listening. Because sometimes when you're talking to a caller, it's easy to be distracted. You might have a producer in your ear, or someone might come in the studio and you turn your mic off and you have he's not listening. And they're talking about home births, right? And there are 3 points in this phone call where I would have gone, you're a prank caller, sorry mate, and cut him off. There are 3 points. See if you can spot them.
Andrew Clover, tell us about the decision-making process in your household. You already told us you were there for the birth of your 3 children. So
the decision-making process was completely out of my hands, Bill. She was barking instructions at me, and she was, like the missus we heard it, insisting on a natural birth, and this suddenly changed at about midnight, and she started sort of barking like a crack addict. Give me the drugs, just give me the drugs. And it was hectic in there, and doctors were arriving, 1, 2, 3 of them, and every one of them stepped forward and basically fisted my wife, and they had a sort of worried look on their face. I don't know what face you should have while wearing a lady like a glove, but I'm sure it wasn't that one.
I don't know what look you should have on your face when you're wearing a lady like a glove, but it certainly wasn't that one. And it went out, and it went out. Here's a clip, right? This is nuts. And this clip is a real test of an audience. This next clip could potentially kill the evening. It's got you worried, isn't it? It's got me worried, because it has killed the evening in the past. But I find this clip fascinating. This, 2001, who remembers the big news story of 2001? George Harrison dying is one. The Twin Towers was the other. Where's he going with this? Vibe gone already, doesn't matter. The clip after it's brilliant, so I can turn this around. This is a genuine bit of football commentary. It's about 3 or 4 months after September the 11th, okay? It is the most incredible thing I've ever heard on the radio. I didn't hear this as it went out because I don't listen to sports, but this kind of got passed around. And let's see what you think.
Gets it out to Summerby. Summerby drifts it out. It's a good one, Dean. Dean goes down like a sack of bricks in the box. There's nobody near him. That was clearly a chance. And as he ran into it, he just collapsed, rather like the World Trade Center, but less spectacularly, onto his back.
That is fucked up. That is fucked up. Everyone who laughed is fucked up. This lady is not fucked up, okay? This lady is good for her. It's incredible. Again, that is why radio is, I think, so powerful, because that could never happen on TV. That guy's a famous sports commentator. I think he's still working, which is just remarkable, you know. But the fact that he's obviously planned that line, and he said, oh, brilliant. Oh, a brilliant line for the next time someone gets tackled. World Trade Center. That's the comparison we need to make. Radio has a lot of personalities. We talked about James O'Brien. We've talked about Nick Abbott. Other people that I like listening to. I love listening to Nick Ferrari. I disagree with everything he says. I think his views are obnoxious and abhorrent. But he's a master at delivering a radio show. I think he's incredible. Whereas Katie Hopkins, I just think is a cunt. But who else do I like listening to on the radio? James Whale is now doing the slot before me, and it's such a thrill, because I genuinely, my granddad used to tell me stories about James Whale, so I think he's brilliant. Clive Bull I've mentioned. Anyone know this lady? Anna Rayburn. That's Anna Rayburn when she was younger. That's when I worked with her. That's her now. I have real affection for everybody that I talk about in this show, apart from her. We didn't get on, Nana and I, partly because I called her Nana, and she hated it. I didn't like her because she said my show was a kid's show. And the last time I have so many stories about her being rude to me, but the last time we ever spoke, I was doing the drive time show on LBC. She was doing the show before me. And for those who don't know it, it was like a kind of emotional relationship advice kind of show, like an agony aunt kind of thing. And I had to go in at the end of her show and talk up what was going to be on my show. And she was so... What was the one that really got her angry? Oh, yeah, I went in one day and I said, right, this is how long ago it was. I said, right, Anna, on the show today, I'm suggesting that we close down all libraries because books are boring and we turn them into blockbuster videos. Obviously, it's a joke, you know, but she went nuts. She went, what are you talking about? Books are boring. How dare you go on the radio and say books are boring? And she did this rant. I said, but Nana, have you ever read A Good Car Chase? And we never spoke again, and I wasn't allowed to go into her show and talk up my show after that. She was greatly offended by it. But a couple of weeks after that, this shows how long ago it was. A couple of weeks after that, we rocked up at the studios, and there was an extra screen in the studio. And I said to my boss, what's this? And he said, oh, this is brilliant. Using this computer, people can text in to the radio show. We didn't have that technology when I started. People could text in. We're like, oh, wow, this is brilliant. You can text in. And it was this fantastic system. Anyway, a week or so after that, Nana's doing a show about the origins of words. And she's asking, you know, people are telling her about where words come from and where phrases come from and things like that. And it's a real charming insight into the British psyche.
We're talking about these things, and I love this one. And I can't help you with this one, Mook. He sent in a word which is cocksmudger. Please would you check the origin? My grandfather say it goes back to old sailors carrying a small Bible with them, and when annoyed, they would, with God, they would peel back the page and rub the tip of the penis against the holy words, smudging the words with the cock. I don't know, but I think your grandfather had you, and I think you just had me, and that's fine, and that's wonderful, and that's what live radio is all about.
It doesn't make any sense. The unfortunate thing about the system we had then for texts is the plural of text, is it was anonymous and there was no way of tracing who sent the text in, so we'll never know who sent that in. Such a shame. Such a shame. Anybody interested in working in radio? Yes? Do you work in radio? No. What do you want to do? Present, produce, report? Oh, okay. Well, good. You can get a job because I don't do sports. I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts now that may not necessarily apply to sports, but they might help. They might help some of you. Right. Do check your sources. This would apply to sports. Do check your sources. The number of times you get sent a story about such and such, and you go, oh, this is an interesting story, and then you go, oh yeah, but it's from the whatever charity, or it's from the whatever fund. There's always an agenda behind these press releases you get. And also, just read them out loud to a friend to see if they sound like complete and utter bollocks.
Your morning news programme. This is Winchester This Morning.
All this week, the ancient art of fisting a chicken is taking place at Sainsbury's in Badger Farm. This way of removing a bird's innards has been used since the 17th century in France. To celebrate, there will be fisting demonstrations in store all week. A Winchester travel consultant.
I mean, these are the kind of people that you'll be dealing with if you get in the industry. People that will think that is appropriate to read that out. Don't trust your listeners. We heard it with the text that Nana had. They will always try and catch you out. You lot want me to say something stupid on the radio. I'm wise to you guys. And George Galloway got pranked recently did you hear this? George Galloway got pranked on Talk Radio by one of the Talk Radio production team, right? And when he knew that he'd been pranked, he took it in really good spirits. I spoke with him after the show, and he took it in really good spirits. Then he found out it was John Holmes's producer, and so he blocked George Galloway, who presents on Talk Radio, blocked Talk Radio on Twitter. It was the most insane thing. Just like Julia Hartley-Brewer's blocked me. I have no idea why. But just be wary, particularly of texts. If people are sending in texts, Get a producer, you read it before you say it out loud.
OK, let's get straight away to our first dedication. Dear Chris, please say a big hello to Connie Lingus, who's 69...
Connie Lingus, Jesus Christ, guys, come on! Connie Lingus and Jenny Taylor. I actually know someone called Jenny Taylor, that's a fact. And I went to school with a guy called Wayne King. That's a true story. That's a true story. So, Jenny Taylor, that's like the first of a whole line of gags.
OK, let's get straight away to our first dedication. Dear Chris, please say a big hello to Connie Lingus, who's 69 on Tuesday. She'll be enjoying my meat and 2 veg on Sunday at 12, which are all the very best, and tell her I look forward to seeing her when she comes. Thanks ever so much, says Ivan
really?
And he says...
Really? Beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? There's so many of these. Do have intelligent guests in the studio who can help you. I like to pull away the curtain, and if as I said before, if things go wrong, I will say things have gone wrong. My favourite question, and I've done this so many times, it always gets the best answer, is just to say, sorry, I don't understand what you said. Can you explain that to me as though I'm an idiot? And generally you get really good answers back. I have no qualms about appearing stupid on the radio. If I don't understand something, I'll say, I don't understand that. Can you just go back a bit and clear it up for me? Because the odds are some of the listeners may not understand it as well. This is a clip. It's that older male heterosexual white guy thing, and he's hosting a show with, I think there are 2 or 3 women in the studio. And he's confused by a text that's come in, and he's not afraid to say, I don't understand. Ladies, can you tell me what this means?
Oh, hang on, we just had a text message here. My name is Margaret, and I have a lovely pair of thick beef curtains.
No, you don't make curtains out of beef. I think you've got
And I'm looking for another pair for my spare room. Has anyone got a pair for sale? Thick beef curtains. Am I missing something here?
Is that for midnight snack? Could they be buff? Could they be beige?
It could be beige.
Could be.
Could that, Margaret? It could be some innuendo here that I'm not reading in, which I should understand. It could be, I don't know.
Is she a butcher's wife, do you think?
I have no idea. Margaret, you give us a call. You're on 080, your last 3 digits. Give us a call. Come on there, and I have no idea what you're talking about. Perhaps it's an old-fashioned design.
It's the most old-fashioned design known to mankind. When I was putting this show together, I played all of these clips to my mum, and I had to explain that one to her. Oh, yay. Don't make jokes ever, guys, because you just don't know what's coming up. And if you make a joke that's a flippant throwaway comment, then goddammit, it might clash with the next thing that's go on. Be robots all the time, otherwise you feel bad.
What have your children, grandchildren done that brought near disaster? You can laugh about it now, but at the time... You wanted to murder the little mites. On 01604234455. Headlines today, 31. Andrew Rad.
A woman's been arrested on suspicion of murder after a baby and a 3-year-old child were found dead at a house in Manchester.
Got another one like that. This is not a wind-up, this is genuine.
Europeans is their headline. The Express, I'm so sorry. Suicide jump father John Hogan, you may have seen the pictures of him on the television last night, staggering into court after all his injuries. He sobbed with self-pity as he revealed what drove him to kill his 6-year-old son. Of course, his daughter still alive, which is the good news there. Lots of the other papers going on that as well. The Mirror, why I jumped, sobbing John Hogan told a court that he left from a hotel with his 2 children because he could not bear to be parted from them. In a moment, we'll talk to Ivy from Tame. Love to hear from you as well this morning. 08459 311 111.
I think that was just, bad planning. I don't think it was done maliciously. I think it was done bad planning. Do be upbeat if it's your last day. As I found out exactly 1 year ago today, you don't always you don't know when your last show is. I did my last show on Friday, November the 13th, thinking I was going to go in the next day to do Down the Rabbit Hole with Kath, and then I got a phone call at 2 o'clock in the afternoon saying, Iain, well, they don't want you in anymore. And it's really rare that you're going to know it's your last day because people are worried that bosses are worried you're going to go on and slag the bosses off, or you're going to say, well, I'm leaving here, but I'm going over to this station. You can find me next week. This next clip, you shouldn't laugh, really. This next clip is a young lady called Paula White, who, it's her last day. She may or may not have had a little bit to drink before she went in. See what you think.
For the last time on lunchtime, let's say you pick the music. Oh yeah. Played that for my dad when he was 60 at Riley's, which is now a co-op at the top of Smallthorne. Here comes the night. Rich and Talk says, Paul, you sound drunk. I'm not drunk. I've had a couple of drinks. I'm not drunk. I'm sad.
Oh, you missed a bit there. I'm not drunk. I'm sad. Paula, I have to say this. When I was at the BBC and they knew I was going to use that clip, they said, you can't use that clip. I said, why not? It's been on the radio. They said, you can't use it. And I have done my research. Paula White, she did go back. She got drunk again. But I believe that now she is clean and sober and she's living a very healthy, booze-free life, which is good for her. Now, oh, blimey, we're running out of time. Look, okay, let me play you a few more clips. This is Nicky Campbell. And what do we think about Nicky Campbell? Oh, I like Nicky. I think he's brilliant. I've been on Watchdog. I've been on Watchdog because I had the Renault Clio and the bonnet flew open. And honestly, it was a potential death trap. And I got to go on Watchdog, and it was such a thrill because I love Watchdog, and I think Nicky Campbell is I just think he's brilliant. I know people don't like him and stuff, but I think he's smooth, he's funny. He was so polite to me, so charming to me. This is a brilliant clip. This is him on 5 Live hosting the breakfast show, and it just, I mentioned that thing earlier on where your mouth goes and your heart goes and your stomach goes. You can kind of just feel this happening for Nicky here.
Georgie Wordsley is master of the Old Surrey and Burstow and West Kent hunt. Is out hunting this morning in Lingfield in Surrey.
She loves
Good morning.
Good morning to you. That's a bit of a slip of the
I know, I do apologise for that. It's very early in the morning and these things do happen. And I feel exceptionally embarrassed about it, and I'm going to have to try and proceed with the interview now. So apologies for that.
He's mortified. He is mortified because he's a professional. He's so mortified, right, that an hour later, he's still apologising for what he did.
Lots of you are mentioning that they'll still be talking about the cunt. That,
does it again!
The West Kent hunt that's
he does it again!
500 years' time. I don't believe it.
He does it again! I love it! Now you like Nicky Campbell a bit better, don't you? All right, listen, we're kind of coming to the end, and I ended the first half talking about a bit of a dark period in my life. This is another kind of dark period in my life, and this is when I thought I was going to get the sack from 3 Counties, and I didn't, but I did. Anyone recognise these guys? This is a group, British sort of soul R&B group from the late 60s, early 70s called Blue Mink. Right? Blue Mink. They had a couple of hits, nothing major. This lot nearly got me the sack from the BBC and had me dragged through the papers being branded a racist, which is quite a common thing for me, as you'll see. What it was, I was presenting the breakfast show. You're going to hear Catherine and you're going to hear Kelly, I think, in this clip. And it's a Friday. It's literally the last few minutes of the show, last few minutes of the week. It's like the end of the week, school week. And there's been a little, I can't remember what it was, we had a little bit of nastiness on the show. And I didn't want to end the show on a mean thing. I wanted to end it on a loving thing. And these people wrote an anti-racist song, and I'm trying to remember what it is, and then a caller calls in.
Hang on a second, Carlo.
Hello, mate, how are
Do you know that song?
Yes, mate, it's Melting Pot by Blue Mink.
Find it, please, Kelly. Blue, how does it go?
Take a pinch of white man, wrap him up in black skin, add a little bit of blue blood,
And that's all I know of it, mate, I'm afraid.
I'm going to get it for you now.
I'm doing it.
But I have no lyrics for it, so...
It's a song about racial harmony, mate.
Can you take full responsibility if it's swearing?
Unless you're a racist, mate, then I don't see what your beef is.
It's on 25 years of rock and roll. It doesn't say 25 years of racist rock and roll, which it would, of course, wouldn't it?
So we find the song and we play it and we're all really excited. Here we go. It's a good song. Classic.
Take a pinch of white man.
Slightly ham-fisted lyrics, but it's beautiful.
Wrap it up in black skin. Add a touch of blue blood. And a little bitty bit of red Indian boy.
Curly black and king kiss. Mixed with yellow chinky.
Sorry, what? There we go, you see. I knew there was... OK, fine. There we go, you see. Okie dokie. It turns out you can't play that song anymore. Do you know what? OK, well... Mouth, the heart, the stomach. That's me panicking. And I did... And the thing is... I had to turn Kelly and Catherine's microphones off because they were pissing themselves with laughter. And I had to do a serious apology. So turn their microphones off. Really sorry. Didn't mean to cause offence. I thought nothing of it because if you want to avoid an Ofcom, if anything goes wrong on the radio, you just apologise sincerely and then you move on. And generally, you're okay. I've never had an Ofcom upheld yet. That was the Friday. That Sunday, me, Catherine, Kelly, Justin, and a few of our listeners were off to see 50 Shades of Grey. We took Dennis. Remember Dennis from Dunstable? He's still alive! I keep losing money every year. Double or quits, Dennis. Come on. You won't make the next one. I'm about 60 quid now. We took Dennis to see, he's 92 now, he was 90 at the time. We took him to see 50 Shades of Grey. Such a boring film. And there's a brilliant bit, I don't know if you've seen it, but the bit where the pervert man opens the door to the bondage room, you see like the playroom for the first time, and Dennis went, "Oh, that looks like my garage, that does." And the woman in front turned round to me and said, "Will you shut up? Trying to watch this?" I said, "It was the old man." She said, "No, it wasn't. It was you. Shut up." Anyway, we went to see that. We come out of the film. It was a late night showing. We come out of the film, and Catherine gets a call from our boss, and she says, "Look, I don't want to worry you guys, but we've just had the Daily Mail on the phone, and they're going to run a story calling you a massive racist." I'm like, "Oh," she says, "but don't worry. If you ever work for the BBC and they say these words to you, don't worry, we're behind you 100%. Run. Run." She said, "Don't worry, we're behind you 100%. And whatever the story is," okay, so we went home, came in the next day, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, got the mail, we're flicking through the Daily Mail, and then we find this. A little racist, BBC DJ halts Chinky's song and says sorry. I wouldn't have spelt Chinkies with the double E's. It's like, hey, with a chink. That doesn't work. Right? And do you know what? Actually, this is the first time I still feel uncomfortable saying that word. It's an unpleasant word. And they do it, I can't see it, it's a little bit small, but they print it. It's in there somewhere. There we go, mixed with yellow. They print it 6 times in there. And the whole thing is asking, am I a racist? And then I went onto the Daily Mail, the Mail Online. I don't know if you've ever been there, to the Daily Mail Online, to the comments section. It is the darkest, most hate-filled place in the world. And everybody on there, it turned out, I was thinking, these comments are weird. What it was, they weren't angry that I'd played the song and apologised. They were angry, hang on a minute. They weren't angry that I played the song and come across as a racist. They were angry that I played the song, stopped it and apologised it because I was forcing my BBC lefty, liberal, political correctness down everybody's throats by saying that was a bad... How dare he say that chinkies is a bad word? There's nothing wrong with saying chinkies. it was the weirdest thing. It passed, I kept my job. And then about a year later, I was asked to go on Pointless. You know, Pointless, right? And I thought, they'd asked me before and I turned it down. But I was free. I thought it would be a laugh. It paid quite well. I got money for it. And I thought, okay, I don't really like doing those kind of celebrity things, but okay, I'll go on Pointless. I didn't really know the show. And I was paired up with the delightful Keith Chegwin, who's just absolutely wonderful. And it was the weirdest thing. There's me and Keith Chegwin, and there's Nicholas Parsons and Helen Lederer, and there's Rav Wilding, and there's Anthony Costa, and it was strangest thing. And we were doing really well, despite the fact I didn't understand the game. We were doing really well. The game is, you've got to pick the answer that the least people have picked. It's like Family Fortunes in reverse, right? And I did it and filmed it, and it was a bit of fun, and that was it. It got shown a year later, okay? And I was at home, and I was watching it with my kids. And this bit happened.
We've got A.
Got a name of Brit bands, Brit award-winning
B.
bands.
C. D. And E.
So what name? You want to pick the band with the least people would have got. So I'm thinking.
There we
Clever.
go. 5 visual clues to Brit Award-winning acts. Now, Iain and Keith,
Yes.
you're our low scorers, so you go
exciting,
first.
isn't it?
Feel free to confer.
Okay. I think so. Shall we do that?
Okay,
we
yes.
do.
What would you like to go for?
You do. Let's go for B. And I didn't know the answer to this, so
I'm not sure I do.
Corner shop.
Corner shop. Say
shop.
Iain and Keith. Corner shop.
Right, so I mean, okay, so Cornish, thinking because it's an obscure band, they were around in about 1997. They probably won a Brit, and then the show progressed.
B is
I've been
corner
too
shop.
clever.
That's a real punt. I'm thinking that they're about that time. They were big for about 20
They were.
seconds.
Okay,
And then
well, let's
Penny,
see
hear the
if
penny
that's
drop?
right.
Oh, no, it's not. I know exactly what it is. Oh, no! Oh, no!
Am I on the right show?
Oh, no!
It's too late!
It's not.
too late!
It's something else.
It's a...
Go on.
Ah, it's the Spice Girls, isn't it?
It's a little bit of pantomime. We're pantomiming it up there a bit.
The show!
Osmond's loving it.
Anyway, Iain and Keith, let's just find out how many people went with corner shop.
Yeah, I wonder.
That's a bad score on Pointless.
I wonder what it could be.
Okay.
It was the Spice Girls, of course, right? And it happened. It was like, oh, a bit. We went on to win. Me and Keith won, and it was great. So watch that, and then I went and had my dinner. This was on a Saturday night. I went and had my dinner, and then I came back and I thought, oh, I'm going to check on Twitter to see how popular I am for winning a few £100 for Macmillan. People are going to love it. It's just brilliant. I'm on BBC One. It's exciting. I've not been on BBC One for years and years and years. So it was genuinely, it's an exciting thing. And my kids saw it and they thought I was funny and they were proud of me and I was proud of me and my mum would have seen it and all of this. I'm going to have a look on Twitter. I'm feeling really good about myself. And then I start seeing stuff like this. Oh, slightly casual racist moment with corner shop, #pointless oops. Unbelievable racism from Keith Chegwin, nice. Don't do me, Gov. On Pointless Celebrities, thinking clue for Spice Girls was corner shop. Then I started getting notifications that it was in newspapers online, Metro online. Keith Chegwin and Iain Lee have been accused of racial stereotyping. The duo were taking part on the BBC quiz show, and when they gave an answer to a question many believe was racist, I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? I'm not a racist! But if you say I'm not a racist, you look like a racist. So suddenly I'm on Twitter arguing with people going, honestly, I'm not a racist. Don't say but after that, because there is like a... Then it got worse, and I was batting off these people going, I'm not a racist. And then I get sent this link from The Sun. Unbelievable racism. Twitter users slam Keith Chegwin and Iain Lee on Pointless for corner shop answer. And then Corner Shop got in touch with me. And they sent, I don't even know if I can say it, they sent me a really racist tweet, and it got really confusing. They sent me a tweet that had, I can't even say it, it's so racist. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? So the lesson from that is, never go on television or radio, basically. I hope that's of use to you, sir. I hope that's of use to you. Listen, I'm going to play you one last clip, and then we're going to go. You can go, I don't care. I'll come back with you, I don't mind. If you've got food, then I'm interested. And if you've got Xbox, I'm double interested. But I will be hanging around. If you want to come and say hello and have a picture taken or buy a CD, then do. I'll play you one last clip. I'm so lucky that I get to work at Talk Radio for the moment. Who knows what's going to happen? It won't last forever. It never lasts forever. I know that. But they literally, someone said, they literally had to create a brand new radio station for me to work on because it was the only place that I hadn't been sacked from. And it's brilliant, and I love it. And it's the slot. I went in and I asked for that slot, and they said, do you not want breakfast? Do you not want drive? I said, no, I want to do a late night show because late night is where it's at. It's where the magic is. I'm going to play you a little bit of that magic. Now, this is, I think this 30-second clip, the last clip of the evening, sums up perfectly why I love doing late night radio, because nowhere else would I be able to get a call like this.
Thanks for calling. Alan's on the line. Good evening, Alan. Hip, hip, hip. I hope that's his mouth. I haven't had this for a long time.
He's genuinely fallen asleep.
He's been on the line for 36 minutes, but how do you fall asleep on the phone?
How do you?
If you've ever fallen asleep on the phone, or the loo, 0844 499 1000.
And he's still going.
Alan.
I think he's finished. That, for me, sums up why I love working on late night radio. Listen, thank you so much for coming along and seeing this. And some of this is new, and some of it is old, and some of it will get changed, and some of it will never be seen again. So what you've seen is unique. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you listening to the radio show. Thank you very much. Night.
Do this!